Hi friends, welcome to this new video and to the first week of Vlogmas. This year for the first time I'm gonna be doing Vlogmas on this channel, and I'm sure you guys know what Vlogmas are, but since I've never done it on this channel, please let me explain you how this is gonna look. So Vlogmas are basically holiday and Christmas themed videos that YouTubers post between the 1st and the 24th of December. Some people post daily, some people post weekly, so I'm definitely gonna be keeping that weekly schedule because that's how I usually post my videos, one time per week. And people talk about all kinds of things. They share their day-to-day life leading up to Christmas, showing how they decorate, what they do, what they cook, etc. So obviously this is a gardening channel, so I want to keep these videos still plant related, but I have seen some gardeners do Vlogmas and I really enjoy it, so I wanted to give it a try this year myself. So all of these videos will be still plant related, but let's say in a more casual, more relaxing form, because I think that's what we all search for during this holiday season, some more relaxing content. So we are going to talk a little bit about adding winter interest, we are going to do some DIY garden projects, we're going to talk a little bit about winter maintenance and winter care. I'm gonna show you how I decorate my place for Christmas. I'm also gonna be traveling for Christmas this year, so maybe I'll share a little bit of that as well. So I hope that you will enjoy this little December series of Vlogmas, starting with today's video. Today we are going to talk about adding winter interest to your balcony on a budget, and this actually is a video idea that comes from one of you guys, so thank you so much for that. Just wanted to say that if you're searching for plant ideas, so what plants you can plant on your balcony to add winter interest, I have a whole video about that where I talk about 10 winter hardy evergreen plants that you can add to your balcony. So I'm gonna link it in the description box and at the end of this video, because in today's video we are not going to be talking about plants at all, because this is meant to be budget friendly, so we are not spending any money on plants. We are just going to be using what Mother Nature provides for free. So let's move to the table and let me show you what we are going to do today. So the best way to provide winter interest to your balcony on a budget is to take a walk in some forest or in some wild park, in some meadow, and search for all of those beautiful things that Mother Nature provides for free. So what you want to search for is some evergreen branches. Can be different types of conifers if you can find. If you're lucky enough to find some other beautiful evergreen branches, like maybe some ilex, so the holly, or even some ivy, some evergreen ferns. Maybe you're lucky enough to find some eucalyptus or evergreen magnolias. You want to find some really cute twigs with some berries on them. You want to search for pine cones, acorns, chestnuts, maybe some dried flowers, some seed pods, or some grasses, anything that you find interesting, anything that you think you can create some really lovely decor with. Okay, so let's start with some really simple ideas and really simple solutions, and then we are gonna move to more decorative, more DIY projects. So one thing that I like to do in my garden before I even start decorating, I like to address all the empty looking pots. So a garden can look really full in summer, but then, you know, in winter a lot of plants go dormant, especially if you have a lot of herbaceous perennials. These die down to the ground level. Maybe you planted some spring bulbs, so you probably have some containers that look like there's nothing in them. All we can see is bare soil. So I like to top dress these containers with something decorative to provide a little bit of interest. You can use anything as mulch. You can use pine cones, pine needles, bark, moss, decorative pebbles. One year I even top dressed my containers with some small crab apples. This looked really cute, really festive, and it also provided food for birds. Birds absolutely loved it. I had so many birds come over and snack on those apples. So a really simple solution that served many purposes. So I highly encourage you to top dress all of those empty looking containers, because that will immediately elevate your plant display and make it look a little bit more interesting. So top dressing your containers with some mulch is a really easy, really quick idea to immediately elevate your plant display, but obviously you can take it up a notch. At the beginning of my balcony gardening journey, obviously I didn't have many plants in general, and I didn't have many evergreens at all. So my balcony garden looked pretty empty during winter, and I didn't want to spend a ton of money on seasonal plants or evergreen plants. But I still wanted my balcony to look cheerful, to look Christmassy, to have something beautiful to look at. So what I would do is I would go for a walk in forest. I will cut some of those conifer branches, some evergreen branches, some berries, and I will create some really simple cut branches, let's say cut greens compositions in my empty containers. This is actually a thing. There are many professional gardeners, many professional container garden designers. They create lovely Christmas compositions without using plants, just using cut branches, evergreen branches. One of my favorite pages on Instagram is Plant Parenting. They are award-winning professionals, so obviously their creations are absolutely stunning, but it is a really great source of inspiration, and that just goes to show you how incredibly beautiful compositions you can create without using any plants at all, just using these, let's say, seasonal branches. So definitely check them out if you need some inspiration. But today I'm gonna create something really simple, because obviously it doesn't need to be fancy. You can just use one type of evergreen branches, add some berries to it. Later on you can hang some ornaments, maybe some Christmas lights, and that already is, I think, a lovely Christmassy composition. Okay, so here is my winter composition. It's super simple, nothing special about it. I'm sure that you guys can invent something more creative. I basically put some of those evergreen conifer branches in this metal bucket, added a few evergreen hellebore leaves that I just cut from my balcony, and some yellow berries. Okay, so this next project will include this wooden ladder, and if you guys don't have a wooden ladder on your balcony, give it a thought, because this is a really beautiful decorative accent, and it's also a very practical accent. I dare say this is one of the best additions to my balcony garden. I've had it for years and used it in so many different ways. So we had a really crazy storm pass through some years ago, and there was a lot of broken trees, and I picked some branches, I attached them together with a metal wire, and then just wrapped some twine around it to make it look more rustic, more cottagey. And I have used it in so many ways. So in spring, summer, you can use it as a trellis for your climbing plants. I grew honeysuckle on mine. I dried herbs on it in summer. You could totally put some smaller pots and plant some herbs or some smaller edibles in it, or some smaller flowers. Then in fall, winter, you can put some Christmas lights or some fairy lights on it to make it look more romantic, more cozy. And for Christmas, there are also a really fun ways to decorate it. So let me show you one of my favorite ideas on decorating this wooden ladder for Christmas. Okay, so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna create a few bundles. I need 2 bundles, one up, one down, with some evergreen branches, with some berries, and then I'm gonna attach them with a metal wire. So I created 2 bundles with greens, and I attached them to the ladder with the same metal wire. So now I'm just gonna add a little bow in the center to cover. So this looks already pretty festive, but I want to take it up a notch and put these small lanterns on it. So the bow is not really my first choice. I used to have a burlap bow, but I have no idea where I put it. So I found this one, which is kind of golden brown with some dots of red color. So I think these lanterns will match and reflect the colors that I used in this composition. Another really simple, really easy to do DIY idea, again using pine cones and some either wire basket, wicker basket, wooden crate. I think that just filling it up with pine cones already looks really cute and really festive. It can serve you as a centerpiece on your outdoor table. You can put it on your bench or mix it with your plants to add a fun seasonal accent to your plant display. Pine cones, obviously, when they are wet, they close and they don't look nearly as attractive. So spraying them with a clear wood preservative prevents them from absorbing moisture, and they will remain open. So filling up a basket with some pine cones, adding some fairy lights. These are really inexpensive. What I like to do sometimes is also reusing citrus peels, like mandarin or orange peels. I cut little stars out of them and I thread them through some cotton, on some cotton thread, and use it as a small garland with my pine cone composition. Okay, and just to finish, a few last ideas on how you can add a bit of winter interest to your balcony on a budget. Winter is a great moment to start feeding birds. I absolutely love this. I consider this almost as a winter tradition or a Christmas tradition, to put out food for birds, to watch them come visit. I find this very relaxing, but there are some really creative ways you can feed birds. One of my favorite ways to feed birds is either to make pine cone bird feeders. So you basically use a pine cone, dip it in a peanut butter, and then dip it into some really good quality bird seed mix. and hang it somewhere on the tree, somewhere on some shrubs, maybe on the trellis, maybe on your balcony railings, wherever you can hang those ornaments, and birds absolutely love them, especially those smaller birds. Then another idea is creating a birdseed wreath. I absolutely love that as well. I'm gonna put a recipe on the screen here, you can screenshot it if you want. So what you will need is some birdseed mix. You need a bit of flour, you need a bit of honey and some gelatin, and you want to use some rounded cake form. Press that into the cake form, let it dry for a day, and then you can attach some ribbon, hang it somewhere on your balcony as well. And I think that's a really festive way that not only looks good, but it also serves a good purpose because birds absolutely love it. And then you can scale it down to smaller ornaments. I used to have a blue spruce on my balcony that I would decorate for Christmas every single year using just bird food, and it looked so much fun. It looked so colorful. From afar you wouldn't even tell that this is bird food. So I used some cranberry ornaments, pine cone ornaments, bird seed, like the pine cone bird seed ornament, and I followed the same recipe as I do for the wreath. I just used it in smaller forms, like cookie cutter forms or muffin forms, and made just like smaller ornaments and hang them on the tree. And birds absolutely loved it. I had even some birds steal those ornaments and leave with them. So this is also a really fun idea to add some interest, but also for a good purpose to feed the birds during winter. Okay, you guys, so it is pouring rain, so I'm afraid that this is as much as I will be able to show you in today's video, but hope that you found some of these ideas interesting. I think that if you combine some of the DIY ideas I showed you in today's video with some of the beautiful evergreen winter hardy plants I mentioned in that other video, you can create a really inexpensive and beautiful winter display on your balcony. So thank you so much for joining me today for this first week of Vlogmas, and we will see each other again next week in another holiday themed video. Bye!